end up in third world wars. And I told that the other day. I said, everybody keeps playing games like this, you'll end up in a third world war. And we don't want to see that happen.
Pretty intense developing news coming out in the last 24 hours. As take a look at the latest headlines with me. NATO urges prepare for war like our grandparents saw in a chilling World War III warning. Here's another one. World War III fears as NATO boss declares the time for action is now. You can see this in the last 24 hours over Russia's plans in Europe. World War III fears as NATO wants to prepare for war like our grandparents saw. NATO chief, Putin is in the empire building business yet again. And this comes as I shared with you, that information that had come out just in the past couple of days, everything we know about Russia's target list, as all 23 towns and cities in the UK are revealed amid World War III fears. We saw that list come out of all the different cities in the UK that Russia is planning to hit if World War III breaks out. And we actually saw this for the United States as well. Chilling list of U.S. cities most likely to be hit first in World War III if it begins, including unlikely Midwest hotspots as well. And a lot of this ramping up because we've seen, you can see here in about the past week or so, the U.S. threatened to withdraw from NATO if Europe doesn't take defense lead by 2027. And they're saying this is emboldening Russia. Now, I'm also going to be sharing with you a warning that has come out in the last 24 hours from Donald Trump as well. As he sounds the alarm, you can see the subtitle here from Fox Business. Trump says Ukraine war sounding like a third world war. You can see it came out yesterday, Thursday, from the White House, warnings from NATO and warnings for Trump on World War III.
Hey, first of all, I want to give all praises to our Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers. Salutations to all the brothers, Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. Every year, the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, always on time, always giving us a sign of hope. A couple months ago, this Nero, the same Trump, has said World War III is not happening. All right. He said World War III is not happening. He said the war in the Middle East, he's going to prevent that. He did what he did to Iran at the time. Now, out of his own mouth, he speaks of the one prophecy that can never change. And that one prophecy that can never change is the war to end all wars. And part of that saying that he just said, which I got to go into it, I guess brothers did videos on it because I didn't really pay attention. Listen, I'm one of those brothers, if I watch 5 minutes of your video, I just get inspired. I don't know. But anyway, Revelation 8, I'll start with that one, 8 and 13. It says, and behold, it said, and I beheld, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth, by the reason of the other voice of the trumpet, the three angels which are yet to sound. Woe, woe, woe means death, destruction. World War III, what we know as World War III. Revelations 11, it was 9 and 12. One war was passed, that's World War I. That war was called the Great War. And behold, there are two woes more hereafter, which is World War II and World War III. Okay? Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, which is World War II. And behold, the third war cometh quickly. Now, they may not feel like it came quickly, But the timing in the heaven compared to earth, the Lord, it took like what, 70, no, damn it, 80 years? Hold on, calculating. Almost 80 years since the last world war. Close, yeah, close, like 70 something years. So, in our, peon worm mind, we might thinking like, oh, this is forever. Nah. The difference between, World War I, think it was 4 years, and World War II was 4 years. So when this thing really starts, it could be done and over with the quickness. Because what's holding everything back? The prophecy, right? The prophecies. That's the one thing that's holding the Lord from destroying this place. Okay? But we are in a process where the elect is already sealed. So the wind, the destruction is nigh at hand. The angels are working in the minds of the world leaders. Which, let me get that real quick. Hold on. Oh, I gotta go back to Revelations. Whatchamacallit? Daniel 10. I'm sorry. Daniel 10 and 12 says, then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the day that first did it set thine heart to understand, to chasten thyself before the power, thy words were heard, and I come forth for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 20 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief priests, the chief angels, chief prince, sorry, one of the chief princes came to help me and remain there with the kings of Persia. What is that telling us? That the angels of the Lord himself, Yahushai, the angels work on the mind of men. All right? Matter of fact, Revelations 11:13. It says, and the sixth angel sound, and I heard a voice from the four horns, the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the six angels, to the sixth angel, so he had his position, he had his thing to do. He gave the warning, the trumpet. Loosed the four angels which were bound in the great river Euphrates. So the loosing, it's like we look at the ancient wars, right? It took me a while to understand it. You look at the ancient wars, the bow and arrow, what they'll tell the archers, they'll say nook, so like meaning lock. So they'll extend, they put the arrow in the bow and arrow, they'll extend it as far as they can with all their strength. And then when they'll say loose, so it's knock loose. So right now, the angels working in the minds of the leaders to make these moves, each move. And one of the main prophecy that's happening, which I'm going to get to, Revelation 17, I'll start at 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, multitudes, and nations and tongues. The whore represents America. All right? America is the whore. The peoples, the scripture says that he heapeth unto him all nations. So America gathereth all nations to themselves. Okay? So it's the whore that gathereth all nations unto himself. And they sit over. That goes into a whole nother thing. Maritime law, birth certificates, or social security. it goes is a deep, dark web of spells that they do, literally. Okay, and it says, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest, the European Commonwealth, which became NATO EU. All right, NATO, North Atlantic Trade Organization. Okay, which is that source upon the beast. So the woman is riding the beast. This is why Trump made a big deal several times about NATO not holding their part and saying that you got to pay your rent. You got to pay. So why America got to pay for NATO's army? Now NATO was established. Sole purpose was to go against the bear, which was Russia. All right, all the European nations gathered together as the USSR was mightier than them. They feared the USSR. So, what was it? Britain pretty much gave the world powers to America after World War II because Europe was devastated, so they say. Well, but became the police of the police of the world. And ever since then, America has been in the prominent forefront of everything. So the relationship that America and EU nations is America seemingly over all these nations. It says, these shall hate the whore. So the beast is going to hate the whore because they're not getting a good part of the deal. And Trump is that guy to push that hatred. It's bad enough. I forgot, was it under Obama that they secretly was recording on their own alliances, holding up information and so forth. But Trump keeps pushing it, pushing it, pushing it till there's no breaking point. Something that America is going to do that's going to trigger NATO to be in the side of Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, the whole BRICS nation. Everybody has nuclear missiles to shoot at this bitch. It says, "It shall make her desolate, America, a desert, and naked. It shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill His will." And that will, from the beginning, was that the Lord's determination is to gather the nations. So the Lord is setting them up so they could be destroyed. The scripture says, "What is Satan be kingdom divided against his Slakia? If Satan be divided against itself, how can his kingdom stand?" So you got the same Edomites in Europe that can't stand America. All right, but they all, it says here it is, and to agree. So the Lord's will was to gather this superpower to bring back this Roman Empire, and they all agreed upon and gave their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. That's why you had the creation of the Treaty of Rome. If you go into Daniel's, I forgot what you basically was saying that the nations was going to rule. It was not going to rule. All right, they were not going to rule. It says, "In the woman which thou sawest, that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, which is Babylon the Great." So under Trump, World War III is gonna happen.
My name?
And this is the last prophecy that's gonna take
It's not too
place.
important. What I'm about to tell you
All
is
right.
extremely important. I'm one of the first people to get a Neuralink implant in my skull. If you guys can see and don't really know what a Neuralink is, it's kind of like an electronic chip from Elon Musk embedded in your skull. At first, it was kind of like a Fitbit, kept track of vital signs, stuff that was going on in my body. Eventually, it's gotten to a point where I can move a mouse without even touching a computer. I can connect. I can download. I can transfer information. I'm not the only person that has one of these now, and now we can communicate. This is what's going to happen for the rest of the world. Eventually, this technology will be, maybe not in you, your kids, your grandkids. This is what's coming next. Welcome to the year 2025. Have fun.
And that's the future. And this guy, the way things are moving, he's gonna usher in that future, which is gonna lead. When the scriptures talk about, behold, two wars come quickly. Yeah, this once it's really official. Yeah, those two prophecies take place, we're home. So with that being said, shalom to the elect, the nation Israel. Shalom.